Sophia was supposed to be the bride. Clara was only supposed to fix the veil. That was the plan when she arrived at the old cathedral outside Palermo, carrying a sewing kit, emergency pins, and the kind of nervous smile people wear when everyone knows a wedding is really a business deal. Sophia Romano was meant to marry Valentina De Luca, the powerful Mafia heiress whose family name could open doors, close mouths, and make enemies disappear. The marriage would protect Sophia's family from debt and disgrace, and it would give Valentina the alliance she needed to keep control after her father's death. Nobody expected love. Love would have been almost ridiculous in a church filled with white roses, golden candles, and men with pistols hidden under expensive jackets. Clara stood behind Sophia in the bridal room, fastening the tiny pearl buttons of the dress while Sophia stared at her reflection like she was looking at a ghost. "I can't do this," Sophia whispered. Clara paused. "Sophie—" "No," Sophia said, her voice breaking. "Don't tell me I can. I know what this is." Before Clara could stop her, Sophia grabbed the skirt of her gown, kicked off her heels, and ran barefoot through the side door. For a few seconds, Clara could only stand there with the veil in her hands, listening to the sound of her cousin escaping. Then the room exploded into panic. Sophia's father rushed in, followed by 2 De Luca men, and the truth spread through the air like smoke. The bride was gone. The alliance was broken. People would pay for it. Then Valentina De Luca entered. She wore a white suit instead of a dress, elegant and severe, with dark hair pinned back and gray eyes that made the entire room go quiet. She did not look abandoned. She looked dangerous. Her gaze moved from the empty chair to Sophia's father, then stopped on Clara. "She ran," Valentina said. It was not a question. Sophia's father began to beg, promising they would find Sophia, promising the marriage would still happen, but Valentina ignored him. She stepped toward Clara. "What is your name?" "Clara Romano." "Her cousin?" Clara nodded. Valentina looked at the veil in Clara's hands. "Then the bloodline is close enough." Clara's stomach turned cold. "No." Valentina stopped in front of her, close enough that Clara could smell her perfume, something dark and expensive, like roses after rain. "If no bride walks down that aisle today, your family will be branded oath-breakers. My enemies will call me weak before sunset. Men outside this room will start making decisions with bullets instead of words." Clara gripped the veil. "So I'm supposed to give up my life because everyone else built theirs on threats?" Something flickered in Valentina's eyes, almost like regret. "No," she said softly. "You are supposed to survive the next hour. After that, we negotiate." It was madness. It was impossible. But Clara thought of Sophia running into the streets, terrified but free. She thought of her aunt, her uncle, and the cousins who would suffer if the De Lucas demanded revenge. She thought of Valentina, powerful enough to terrify everyone in the room, yet trapped by the same machine that had trapped Sophia. So Clara did the foolish thing, the brave thing, the thing that changed everything. She put on the veil. The dress fit badly at the waist and too tightly at the ribs. As the cathedral doors opened, every face turned toward her. Clara felt as if she were walking through a dream made of candlelight and danger. At the altar, Valentina waited, still and unreadable. When Clara reached her, Valentina leaned close and murmured, "Breathe. They can smell fear." Clara almost laughed, and somehow that kept her from fainting. The ceremony passed in a blur. She said the words she was told to say. Valentina said hers with perfect calm. Then came the kiss. Clara froze. She had not thought that far. Valentina lifted the veil slowly, her fingertips brushing Clara's cheek. Her eyes searched Clara's face, silently asking permission in a room where neither of them had truly been given any. Clara gave the smallest nod. Valentina kissed her. It should have been cold. It should have been nothing more than theater. Instead, it was soft, careful, almost tender. Clara felt the kiss everywhere, in her chest, in her shaking hands, in the dangerous thought that Valentina De Luca kissed like someone who had been lonely for a very long time. When they separated, applause thundered through the cathedral, but Clara could barely hear it over her heartbeat. That night, the reception glittered with champagne, music, and lies. Everyone congratulated them. Women studied Clara with sharp curiosity. Men kissed Valentina's hand and pretended not to whisper. Valentina never moved far from Clara's side. When an old man with a scar across his mouth asked too many questions about the sudden change of bride, Valentina placed a hand at Clara's lower back and said, "My wife does not answer interrogations on her wedding night." My wife. The words should have felt like chains. Instead, Clara hated how they warmed her. Later, she escaped to a balcony overlooking the dark sea. The music was muffled behind the glass doors, and for the first time all day, she let herself shake. Valentina found her there and placed her white jacket around Clara's shoulders. "You did well," she said. Clara laughed bitterly. "I lied in a church." "So did half the people inside." Clara looked at her. "When do I get to leave?" Valentina's face tightened. "Not tonight." "Of course." "Listen to me," Valentina said. "My father's men are not all loyal to me. Some obey my uncle Matteo. He wanted this wedding to fail. If you leave now, he will use you. If Sophia is found, he will use her too. For a little while, being my wife is the safest place you can stand." Clara looked toward the guards in the garden. "You have a strange definition of safe." "I know," Valentina said quietly. "I never said my world was beautiful, only that I know how to survive in it." In the days that followed, Clara moved into the De Luca estate, a palace of marble floors, lemon trees, locked doors, and secrets. In public, she and Valentina acted like newlyweds. In private, they were reluctant allies. Valentina taught Clara which names to remember, which rooms to avoid, and which smiles meant danger. Clara brought chaos into Valentina's perfect life. She refused to be dressed by servants, stole figs from the kitchen, asked blunt questions at dinner, and laughed at moments when everyone else was afraid to breathe. Valentina tried to stay cold, but slowly, helplessly, she began to smile. The first time Clara heard her laugh was in the library after a dinner with Matteo, a man whose politeness felt more violent than shouting. Clara had survived the evening by insulting him in French, knowing he would not understand. "You called my uncle a decorative corpse," Valentina said when they were alone. Clara shrugged. "He should not have assumed I only spoke Italian." Valentina stared at her, then laughed so suddenly and beautifully that Clara felt something inside her give way. One stormy evening, the power flickered through the estate, and Clara found Valentina sitting alone by the fireplace, her tie loosened, a glass of wine untouched in her hand. Clara sat beside her on the floor, though there were velvet chairs everywhere. "You don't have to sit there," Valentina said. "I know," Clara replied. "That's why I like it." After a moment, Valentina sat on the floor too. They shared the wine because Clara said it felt more dramatic. They talked until the fire burned low. Valentina spoke of her mother, who had loved opera and hated the De Luca name. Clara spoke of her dream of opening a small art restoration studio near the sea. "You could still have that," Valentina said. Clara looked at her. "Could you?" Valentina did not answer. Clara touched her hand. It was a simple gesture, but Valentina went still, as if gentleness was something she had forgotten how to receive. Then she turned her hand and laced their fingers together. Outside, thunder rolled over the estate. Inside, neither woman let go. Their second kiss happened with no audience, and that was why it mattered. Matteo had cornered Clara in the greenhouse, warning her that pretty brides often became tragic widows. Clara held her ground, but when Valentina found her afterward, her control cracked. "He threatened you," Valentina said, voice low and lethal. "He tried." "I'll destroy him." "No," Clara said, stepping closer. "I don't want more blood because of me." "This is not because of you," Valentina said. "He wants to prove I cannot protect what is mine." Clara lifted her chin. "Am I?" Valentina froze. "Are you what?" "Yours?" The question trembled between them. Valentina's eyes softened. "Not because of a contract, not because of a church, not because of my name." Clara's heart beat faster. "Then why?" Valentina touched Clara's face with both hands. "Because when you look at me, I remember I am still a person." Clara kissed her first. It was not for show, not for survival. not for a room full of enemies. It was warm and desperate and real. Valentina pulled her close, one arm around her waist, the other hand gentle in her hair. Clara tasted rain, wine, and the impossible sweetness of wanting the woman she should have feared. When they parted, Valentina rested her forehead against Clara's. "Tell me to stop," she whispered. Clara smiled against her mouth. "I was about to tell you not to." But love inside a mafia house could not stay hidden. Matteo found Sophia and brought her back, not as a runaway bride, but as a weapon. Before the family council, he accused Valentina of staging the wedding to seize power through fraud. He demanded the marriage be annulled and Valentina removed as head of the family. Clara saw the trap. If Valentina answered with violence, she would become the monster they expected. If she surrendered, Matteo would own them all. So Clara stepped forward. Her knees shook, but her voice did not. "Sophia ran because she was afraid," she said. "I took her place by choice." Matteo smiled. "A romantic lie." "No," Clara replied. "A legal truth." She placed the civil marriage papers on the table, signed and witnessed properly. Valentina had prepared them in secret after the ceremony, but had asked Clara before filing them. Clara had signed, not because she was trapped, but because by then leaving Valentina alone in that house had felt worse than staying. Then Sophia stepped beside her, pale but brave. "Clara saved me," she said. "And Valentina spared me when she could have punished me. That is more honor than any of you showed." The room shifted. Matteo's power cracked. By dawn, his men had been removed, and he was sent away under guard, defeated not by bullets, but by the women he had underestimated. When it was over, Clara found Valentina in the chapel beneath the same arch where their first kiss had been a performance. Morning light fell through the stained glass, painting her white suit blue and gold. "You won," Clara said. Valentina turned. "We survived." Clara walked closer. "What happens now?" Valentina's expression changed. For the first time, she looked afraid. "Now you choose. Sophia is safe. Your family is safe. I can arrange a separation quietly. Money, protection, a house, whatever you need. You can have your life back." Clara studied her. This woman had been raised to command, taught never to beg, and yet she was offering Clara freedom with a breaking heart. "And what do you want?" Clara asked. Valentina's voice was barely a whisper. "You." The honesty of it made Clara's chest ache. "Not as a symbol," Valentina said. "Not as a shield. I want you at breakfast when you steal figs. I want you in the library insulting my enemies in languages they don't understand. I want you in every room that used to feel like a prison." Clara smiled through sudden tears. "That sounds like a dramatic proposal for someone who is already married." Valentina gave a soft, unsteady laugh. Clara took her hand. "I don't want a cage," she said. "I want my studio. I want sunlight. I want a life that belongs to me." Valentina nodded, even though it clearly hurt. "Then I'll give it to you." Clara stepped closer. "I wasn't finished. I want all of that, and I want you to come home to it." Valentina stared at her like she could not believe love was something being offered instead of taken. Clara touched her cheek. "You once told me women like you aren't usually offered love." Valentina closed her eyes. "Clara, I'm offering." Valentina kissed her then, not like a mafia heiress, not like a queen, not like a woman trying to prove anything. She kissed her like someone finally allowed to be loved. Months later, people still whispered about the wedding where the bride ran and the cousin took her place. Some called it scandal. Some called it strategy. But in a sunlit studio near the sea, where Clara restored old paintings and Valentina brought her flowers every evening, the story was much simpler. The mafia heiress had needed a bride. Clara had been wearing the veil, and inside a lie meant to save everyone else, they had found the only truth that mattered.
Don't know if I can find my way out. I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this dark